Hey everyone, welcome back to One Awesome Autistic. I'm Lee, I'm autistic and I also have ADHD. So on One Awesome Autistic I do 2 videos a week for you guys. The Wednesday video is a vlog that's a little bit more personal, more about me, more about what it's like for me to live as an adult with autism. And then Saturday videos are more sort of like autistic content. So they're like, you know, autistic traits, things that autism can cause and stuff like that. So a little bit like this video today, which I'm going to be talking about Palilalia. Very hard word to say. Palilalia. Blah. I'm a little bit short-tongued, I can't say my L's properly, so that's a fun word for me to try and get my tongue around. And so if you want to see more of those types of videos, then click the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and that way you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. So currently there's just 2 videos a week, but just in case I was to stick out a bonus video or something like that, you guys would be the first to know about it. So a couple of weeks ago I did about echolalia, and Palilalia is lesser known but a little bit less complex than echolalia, but it's quite similar to echolalia. There's like tons of different sort of like sub-forms of echolalia, but there isn't with Palilalia. If you see me reach out like this, it's because my cat is attacking the camera, and so I'm just trying to steady it. Right, so I'm going to have to read this next bit because this next bit I can never remember. But Palilalia is a language disorder that is a complex tic categorised by involuntary repetition of syllables, words or phrases. So it's involuntary repetition. And it's classed as an aphasia, which is a disorder of language. So it's not a speech disorder, it's a disorder of language. It's got nothing to do with the actual ability to speak. If you think this describes you better than echolalia, then let me know in the comments below. Palilalia seems to resonate more with me than what echolalia does. I know there's a couple of sort of type of sub-forms of echolalia that I do tend to do, but not that often. But Palilalia definitely resonates more with me. Autistic people tend to have Palilalia because it affects neurodegenerative disorders and also genetic disorders as well. And I believe autism is classed as a genetic disorder, so therefore people who are autistic can possibly suffer with Palilalia. I actually hadn't heard of Palilalia until I was researching more on echolalia. Echolalia I'd heard of because obviously it comes up in your assessment phase. So I'd heard of it before and I had a bit of knowledge about echolalia, but for my echolalia video I wanted to kind of like scrub up and make sure the things I was saying was correct and not just what I thought or what I'd read but was wrong. And that's when I came across Palilalia and I was like, oh well, that actually sounds a little bit more like me. So I thought I'll have a little bit more of a look into Palilalia, see what it's all about and things like that. But it was harder to find information on Palilalia than echolalia. Online, echolalia, it's this, it's that, it's the other, everything that you read, it all fits together, it's all the same thing. You go on different websites and the description of echolalia is exactly the same. With Palilalia I was finding really contradictory descriptions on different websites. So if it was an American versus an English website, it would have completely different descriptions from each other. So it was very, very hard to find the information that I actually needed for this video. Some websites were saying that Palilalia, you only got it if you were autistic. Some were saying you only had it if you were ADHD. Some were saying you could only get it if you had something like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, and that you couldn't get it if you were autistic or had ADHD. So a lot of conflicting information on the internet. It's very, very hard to find out what Palilalia actually is. The descriptions I have used in this video, I basically just got off the wiki page for it. I know that doesn't mean that it will be 100% correct, but it's all I had to go on basically to be able to do a video about it. I wanted to talk more about it, I wanted to create more of a discussion about it, and I wanted to find out whether it's actually something that I have or not. So based on that description that I said earlier in the video about it being voluntary repetition, I believe that I do have Palilalia because I repeat myself a lot. This is one of the reasons why usually my vlogs are heavily edited. because sometimes I go way off script, or I only have bullet points for a script, or I don't have a script at all, and then I just end up saying the same thing 5 times in slightly different ways, or just exactly the same. I just repeat the same things, and I don't realise that I'm doing it. And the only reason why I knew that I was doing it was because it was something that was actually pointed out to me, and then I became sort of a little bit more aware that I was doing it. So sometimes I will hear myself repeat things and go, oh God, I'm just repeating myself again for like the 5th time, and I know how annoying that is. Sometimes I will say something else, and then say the original thing again within a conversation, then say something else and say the original thing again. I sometimes do it that way, and it's like I can't stop myself saying it either. Like, sometimes I'm aware that I'm doing it, but I just can't stop myself, and that's a very, very strange feeling, that you almost have no control over what you're actually saying. Obviously, if I was to go with some of the descriptions that I've seen online, then I wouldn't have Palilalia. What I do wouldn't be classed as Palilalia, but I'm just going by that wiki description. So one of the descriptions that I saw quite often online about what Palilalia is that it's very specific, in not that you repeat phrases and things like that, but that you tend to repeat the last part of a sentence or the last word of a sentence, and you'll tend to repeat it a few times, but more in a whisper. And so that's something I've never really come across before, and something that I don't do myself, but that is one of the other descriptions that I found on a couple of websites. Hopefully my next step will be, once all this sort of quarantine's over and things like that, is that I'll be able to speak to a professional about all the different aspects of me being autistic and how it's affected me, and all these sort of like little disorders that are tied in with autism, and to try and work out which ones I do have and which ones I don't. So hopefully in the future I'll have a little bit more clarification on that, which obviously I'll be sharing with you guys. And once I have more information, I'll probably end up doing most of the videos that I do now. Once I have more information, more wisdom, more experience with it all, I'll probably end up doing these videos slightly different in the future, just to update. So obviously in the future, medicine's always improving, science is always improving, so once there is more information on these sorts of things as well, that's stuff I'll be talking about, sharing with you guys as well. And that's it from me this week, guys, and I'll just see you in the next video. Bye for now.